most pressing issues facing Pakistan right now. I'm going to start by throwing out a very fashionable and much used, somewhat annoying word, which is polycrisis. It came up a lot in 2022 in a global context, and I think it sums up pretty well what's happening in Pakistan at this point. This is a country with chronic economic challenges that in 2022 was pushed to the edge by the dislocation that followed the COVID pandemic and then the war in Ukraine, which disrupted world markets. Pakistan now desperately needs to revive its IMF program and to reschedule its debt. But to do that, it needs political stability, which, as everyone in this room knows, is elusive in Pakistan. Adding to this is, of course, environmental crisis caused largely by factors beyond Pakistan's control in last year's devastating floods, which showed this country's vulnerability to climate change and prompted the international community to take the threat seriously enough to come up with a $9 billion package for climate resilience. And then finally, I feel compelled to mention the security challenges that Pakistan perennially faces, which are unfortunately rearing their heads again. Joining me are two panelists, one from the state sector, one from the private sector, who I think are uniquely positioned to analyze what's happening and talk about possible paths for Pakistan out of the crisis, out of the poly crisis. Where do we start? I'm going to put you both on the spot with some questions before we open it up to the audience. First, I think most of you recognize former Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbasi. We got a good round of applause when he was coming in the room, so a big popular man. And then Mian Mansha, who is one of Pakistan's top business owners, and I gather one of the country's biggest taxpayers as well. Okay. Unfortunately, Maleha Lodi came down ill and is unable to join us today. We would otherwise not have a panel, which is what we do. So I'd be eager to hear what our panelists say. I'll stop talking now, but I'll first ask a couple of questions, and then we will leave some time open at the end to hear what your questions are. I'm personally very curious to hear what Pakistanis say about the predicament your country is in now, and hear what you think is wrong and how you all fix it. So maybe first question to Shahid. To what extent do you think Pakistan's political class and politicians need to take responsibility for what's happening? And how do you do this? Are the politics broken? And if so, how are they fixed?
Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here today. The question is something that is asked every day in Pakistan. I think if we try to apportion blame, then there is nobody who can be exempt from that blame. So, what is the extent of that blame and who's to blame? I think that's a debate that will go on forever. But the political class is to blame. There have been external influences in our politics. The military has had long tenures of non-constitutional rule. And during those periods and post those periods, a political class has been created which really are not reflective of the aspirations of people of Pakistan. So we need to be cognizant of that. And even this process continued when the military had withdrawn to a certain extent from governing Pakistan. So those influences exist even today, and as a result, the people you see in the assemblies, both the national and the provincial, and the people you see in the Senate, in my opinion, most of the people are not reflective of what people of Pakistan want there. They have come there through various means. Some have used money, some have been multiplied to an extent that they serve the purpose that the military wanted, and here we are. So, but the political class has to accept blame. As a comparison, if you look at Pakistan, in 75 years we produced thousands of generals, thousands of bureaucrats, thousands of judges, but we only produced 4 political leaders, which are Khaqan, who is not here today. Then you had Abbasi, you had Bhutto, and today you have Mansha. These are this is all that Pakistan has produced. Now, how do I qualify for a political leader? This is a constituency-based system. But to me, a political leader is a person, and I live in the constituency, I work for the constituency, I know the people, but a political leader is a person who comes to my constituency and delivers votes for me. That's a political leader. And today, in today's politics, only, I would say, Mian can do that. So that's the reality of Pakistan.
So, if I can interrupt, you're suggesting that your leaders lack the human qualities of assuming leadership. Are there any institutional challenges around how campaigns are financed, how people come into politics in the first place? Is there anything that you could change in the system?
Well, when the results speak for themselves. So, if we talk about who's to blame or how did we get here, we need to recognize that post 1985, post the Zewla era, there have been changes within the system, there have been government that have come and gone. So the political leaders have to accept that blame. And the extent of that blame, as I said, can be debated. But I think what we have today is really a result of maybe interference in politics, but maybe to a larger extent, the inability to understand the situation, the competence that was needed to understand the complex issues, and especially when Pakistan was probably one of the first in the region to move away from a centralized economy to a market-based economy. Mr. Mansha here is an example of that. In 1990, the MCB was privatized, and we bought MCB in the bid process. Again, if you look at his situation today, 30 years down the road, he still faces the National Accountability Bureau questions on how that privatization took place. So there are a lot of external influences into the political system, into the system of governance, which perhaps are not so visible, but they were very serious effect on how the decision making takes place. And that results in the problems that we have today.
When you say external influences, what do you mean? Do you mean big money? Do you mean corruption? Do you mean foreign powers? I'm going to ask you to spell that out.
So there is, from the establishment, there is an influence. The judiciary has a very serious influence on the political system. Their decisions have been such that the price that we have been paid is not visible. And beyond that, there have been issues of qualifying or disqualifying people from politics. And that has resulted in a political class, like I said, which does not have the competence or the ability or the integrity to solve Pakistan's problems. Corruption is a major issue. But is it the only issue? I would disagree there. Unfortunately, it is the corrupt people that are more acceptable to the establishment than people who are guilty. So, over the years, those people have been fostered. We have a Senate, which is upper house. Every province is equally represented. And in that house, I can safely say, more than 50% of the people in that, of the senators, bought their way directly or indirectly, whether they paid off their parties or they paid their voters, 450%.
Where do you get that number? It's extraordinary.
Was the Prime Minister, I was there when the Senate election took place. So I have knowledge beyond what is publicly available.
Okay. I don't want us just to focus on government because every society has multiple players or stakeholders. You made reference to the struggles of the private sector, and I wanted to bring Mian in at this point in the conversation and ask you, this is an economy in Pakistan. You have that eternally struggles to pay its way in the world. It doesn't export enough. It has too many pairs of hands for the jobs that it creates. What is your prescription? What do you think Pakistan should be doing to create a more viable economy? And do the politics, like from your telling, dysfunctional politics feed into this?
Thank you. I think Pakistan's economy has been going down for the last 30, 40 years, not just happened today. And we need to think about it, that what is happening, and we need to go back and check. For example, if anybody does well in business, he's hungry. And they say, you've done this wrong, that wrong. I think I have one thing very common with Shahid, and that is the net should be disbanded. I mean, there have been people who do it. I think you spent 8 months. So there are people who spend 2 years without a charge at all. But I really feel that I'm part of the problem. When I took over the bank that I run, it made 24 crores profit. And in this December, when I go, we made 71 billion profit. I thought, they call me in the tax department that I am the of the law. When they can't elect anybody, they come to me and I pay the tax more than in the short term life. You give them the money. But I think we need to look at it as the things that we need to do. When this government came in, I met the Prime Minister. I said, please privatize things that we need to privatize. And there are some doing inputs. For example, I told them privatize the airports first. All the major airports in the world, Heathrow, Bombay, Delhi, Istanbul, are all private airports. If you go to Lahore airport, you will see, you don't know this, but we call it the Thana police station. It looks like not an airport, a police station. Where there are so many checks, people are being arrested, detention and all that. You privatize these airports, and you will see the difference. It's expensive. There will be more facilities. Maybe doctors will be sitting there, foreigners who are coming in to get their teeth. They're coming from America, Europe, Pakistan, because it's better and cheaper in some way. So let's do that. And also the company should, when we took over the banks, Abbasi Bank, UBI, myself and I, we fired 51,000 people. One day we just fired 51,000 people. The central bank supported us. They gave us cheap loans, and we paid off all these people. Anybody who had service left, if it was 40, then 20 years we paid.
Can you contextualize that a bit, maybe for people who aren't in business, when you say we fired 51,000 people? We'll have people in the audience who say that's terrible, but I think you're making the point.
That's the point.
Okay, yes please.
So, let's say we didn't fire them, we separated them. That would be a better way. So we gave them so much money, which they deserve. We said, they went with all that billions of rupees to somebody made a house, somebody made a small business, somebody made a restaurant, and I saw and I could still see all those people, and that money came into the economy. So it's not only the efficiency we do, but you also. And then now, after 30 years, we employ more people than we buy. So that doesn't mean that you create new services and you create new cars, car mortgages and all that. So you can, it's a short-term problem, but you have to do that. For example, in Punjab, Punjab Food Department employs 140,000 people. So I went to the Chief Minister, more himself, and I said to him, we'll give you a loan, all the banks will put in money, give them a golden handshake, let them go. You know, so what we need to do is to make the government smaller. You come from UK,
Yes.
and I have been in UK during those times when I saw Maggie Thatcher, the Prime Minister, how many things she privatized so boldly, and she went under so much criticism in the Parliament, but she had it. And the coal miners, you remember, after strike,
Yes.
all the best they had. She even privatized water boards.
So this gets back to what Shahid was saying. I mean, it's about getting the personalities. I think you're suggesting, right? The person that will lead Pakistan into the future. I mean, do you have personalities like this in politics? Question for both of you, really.
Can I answer that?
Yes.
I think we have. He's one guy, and I'll tell you why. When the last time the Washington government came, they came to my house, and the Parliament ministers were deciding who's going to do what. Shahid knows that I recommended there should be one ministry for energy, not two ministers, petroleum and water and power. Do this one, and it's really complicated to coordinate two ministries. So the decision was not made in my favor. But as we were getting out of that room, Shahid told me he had become minister for petroleum at that time. And he said, I don't mind working under this guy, the other one, but it should be one ministry. So I worked with him, and he's done things, and he's clear-headed about things, you know. So people like him need to come forward. And I think he can do a very good job.
Here's a perfect question.
I think the question of confidence is critical in Pakistan today. I can safely say to you, if you take the National Assembly or the Senate, from where the federal cabinet comes, you will be pushed to get 3 competent ministers. This is the reality of Pakistan today. The federal government is literally down to 3 major ministries: finance, power, and petroleum. You will be pushed to get 3 people to run those ministries. And why has that happened? Because the world has changed. Politics has to change accordingly. This is not just a problem in Pakistan. Today, to be a minister, you must have an education, not just a degree. Second thing, you must have life experience. You must have done something in life, had a job, run a business. And the third thing, you must go through the political mill. People today get elected, they become members of the National Assembly, they are qualified to be ministers, but they can't be the ministers the next day. They have to understand how government works. It's all a market-based situation now. This is not a centralized administrative ministries anymore. So that's where we are failing. We fail to maybe attract people with that competence level into the political structure, or maybe people just got a disillusion, or maybe the period of non-constitutional rule have fostered people who really do not have these competencies, but they are pushed into those positions by being fostered. So it's a very difficult situation, because really I say this again and again, the political system today, and not the system, does not have the competence or the ability to solve Pakistan's complex problems today. We've kicked the can down the road too far, and now it's at the end of this trip, at the end of the road here. So you need people who have the competence to be able to address Pakistan's issues today. Those are very, very few.
Thank you, very interesting. Can I ask you about your bureaucratic class? Do you have people who are up to the level in running a big, complex economy and country like this? And if not, why not?
No, that's the other side of the problem. Till I would say the mid-90s, the minister only came into the ministry a few times a week, signed a few files, and that was his only job. He attended cabinet meetings and moved things. Today, if the minister does not provide leadership, the bureaucracy does not have the competence or the experience to resolve the issues of that ministry. Why has that happened? Because we have been left with a very archaic system of governance, which does not allow competence and experience to be built up. For example, if you take the federal government today, you take the petroleum ministry or the power ministry, every decision is in billions of dollars. The people, the secretaries who come there, for example, both the secretaries who are holding these positions today have never ever gone to the federal government. These are all federal officials, but they prefer to work in the provincial governments because the perks are the power privileges there are much higher. So when they reach the end of their career in the last and when they hold the highest grade in the bureaucracy, they prefer to come back or they are forced to come back to the federal government. Today we have federal officers working at the tehsil level, which is the lowest administrative unit in the provinces, where people at the federal level, at the district level, people at the division level, people in the provincial government, all federal officers. This has to change. The provinces should have their own bureaucratic structures and the federal government needs to specialize. Today you can be the secretary for power today and can be the secretary for religious affairs the next day. So that experience is not transferable. It is not administrative issues anymore.
Does this country have a school of national administration the way France does, for example?
Yes, we do. We do it right where you know, but again the people go through that, but they still remain the provinces. Okay. They do not have the experience of federal government. They do not have the experience of the issues that federal government has to solve. So if the minister does not provide leadership, that's why I said earlier, the minister must have those three competencies to be able to deliver governance.
Can I ask a question about your diaspora? You have a lot of extremely talented, in some cases rich, successful, smart people all over the world. Have you thought in Pakistan of bringing back and enlisting their help in bringing your country out of crisis or developing it, to put a more positive spin on what needs to be done here?
Well, I think that's a good point. We have over 9 million Pakistanis working abroad. Even the mayor of London comes from Lahore, Shahid. So we do have that advantage that we could seek their help. I really think there should be a political change in this country. I think the best form of government and the constitution is the German one. After the war, they have a very good system where the three major political parties, if you're less than 5%, you're out, as you know that. So the three parties which are there, they nominate, if there are 200 members in the parliament in Germany, they say that these are the 200 people that we will get into the party. And that is why in Germany you have everybody in the Dr. Schiller, Dr. Kissinger and all that. So they're not constrained when they have to keep people who are not qualified, as we say. So I think we need to have something, in Senate, for example, in Pakistan, if you look at it, there are all kinds of people in Senate who have no place there. I don't want to go into names, but you know, people who are your relatives, or when somebody was a policeman, he might have helped you. He's become a senator and all that. So the concept of merit in Senate, and then Senate is also very important, that it just balances politics.
Couldn't that be settled with legislation? Isn't that something that your lawmakers could look at? Provisions against nepotism, or is that just a complete no-zone in Pakistan? It's an innocent question.
I don't think so. I think we need to, as I said, reduce the government. You know, the simple things. For example, this is one of the few countries in the world where there is no price of water. No price of water. If you have washing your car, you keep on washing your car. If you're giving water to your farms and all that. We don't have any compensation in that also. I mean, if you look at farming also, we get what is minutes, go from there to Islamabad on the right side to the Abbasi. I use only 20% water. And the rest of the, and that is why our crops are also distorted. Sugarcane would be never viable in countries like Pakistan. But since you have no price, everybody is doing whatever they want.
Is there a strong farmers lobby? I mean, I'm surprised the IMF hasn't pressed Pakistan on this point. If they're asking you to get rid of subsidies.
I don't know why, but they're getting involved in smaller things, but the IMF is not talking about water. We are not short of water. If we do have a price of water, I can tell you, we will have no shortage of water. But since we do not price something, then you will misuse it and waste it. So these are very small things, but they need to be done. Because the price of water is one thing very fundamental to our economics. And we need to do those things, And then, it's a strange country. We have three borders. One with India, one with Afghanistan, and one with Iran. We don't trade with anybody. We don't trade with anybody. Most of the countries who have done well do well on the region.
Yes.
America, Canada, Mexico, and NAFTA was made. They said it would be a disaster for America. That didn't happen. European Union will do it. And then Boris Johnson comes in, takes off the Brexit, and now you have a problem. So I think these are the few fundamental decisions we need to take.
So you're not exploiting your natural overland trading routes with your neighbors. Perhaps that's something that could change in the future with India, for example. It could go from both sides.
Well, I am not a politician of the country, but I do feel that we need to regularize things with India. Some one may be.
Thank you very much. Let's talk a little bit about the factors perhaps beyond Pakistan's control or only partially under your control, and notably climate change and this $9 billion of pledges that your country got from the international community. I'd be curious about both of your reflections, or either of your reflections, on this money. Do you think it's well intended? Will it be well spent? What do we know about it? And will it be one step out of the crisis for Pakistan?
Yeah, Pakistan is the net recipient of the effects of global climate change. Our contribution by any measure, CO2 emissions or any other emissions, are much lower on per capita basis, probably most of this world. And certainly, probably the lowest among the large of this world. The money that you just mentioned, my experience has been that these are mostly profitable. And much of it doesn't materialize. Pakistan has to use its own resources to have the effect of these floods. And we must also understand that these floods were not driven by flooding of the river. This was driven by rain. And they inundated area which do not have natural rain. Water will remain there in that place. And that area is, because it does not have any system as such, it is the poorest of the poor. So the people affected are literally people who are already on some level of subsistence before they leave the area. So the money that will come or has come will be targeted into delivering services and measures which will mitigate the effect of such events.
Do you like what you heard from the international community? I mean, it's changed a bit of the discourse around Pakistan, right? That you're not just a victim of your own collective bad decisions, but a victim of Mother Nature, and the world has an obligation to help you. I mean, isn't that
I think we want to recognize that, and I think the minister has done a good job. The Prime Minister in talking about the issue and how it has happened. Almost one third of the country was affected by the flood. These are not residential events. Even the city today, this is the end of February, it's just 50 people. That never happened before. So, global warming or whatever, I think you see the effect very clearly from that.
Okay. Can I turn a bit and ask about your country's relations with the IMF? Because it seems like another dysfunctional relationship, and on both sides, I think we could put some blame on Washington as well, that you get this periodic bailout. I can't remember, but you might know the actual number of IMF programs Pakistan's been through, and I think you know.
I think we
Okay.
And what we want to do,
We're talking about that.
we want from 2013 to currently 18.
Okay. Where was the dysfunction there, and how does one fix that? And I believe some of it's in Washington, so let's not, just to be clear, I don't have any nerves about it.
Yeah, we have to take promises to be able, and so we do that when we need the money, and after a few months, that's when we are slightly in a better position, then we forget about our commitment to the IMF. And that is now being felt very much in Washington. I think I've seen some statements of the IMF meeting. I think she also made some legitimate statements. The IMF guys don't do that. Press and all that. So they have also been rather harsh with us. But the fact of the matter is, we've got 23 programs, and we are back in the same after few years. And this is happening with other countries also. Argentina, Egypt. They have had so many programs, but 23 programs as well. And we need to go through, and our people are now prepared, I think, for the worst, that everything is to happen. So that's the most if we invest us on the way to do it. And now that the elections are coming, what's the, now they want constitution. So I think that's a big answer.
How will the elections play into this dynamic? I mean, how will the two things relate?
Nobody can talk about that, interest rates have gone up. Prices are increasing. For example, in India, 1 meter of petrol is 300 rupees, and we have now gone to 262. So this one, we should learn. We have to do more things.
The devaluation.
So that prices increase, it might more than here. So the issue is that we need price things properly. Otherwise, it will be misused by the world. We need to put our house in order to do some of the things that we do. The other thing which is a big objective for Pakistan is the platform.
Yes.
Now, that's equal to Saudi oil, for example. So this coal is not only for making power, you can make fertilizer out of it, you can make gas out of it. We have such a big resource. But the problem is that we haven't made the infrastructure designed to meet those and to the electricity needs. So that also we need to sort out.
It's a big coal deposit. What part of Pakistan is it? In the south. At the risk of being obnoxious, I mean, isn't there a bit of a danger when the world has a lot of sympathy for Pakistan as a victim of climate change, investing big in coal? Or do you think the world will?
They're not investing in something, for example, to use this coal from down. It has a little bit higher moisture, but if you put it in a stable skin, the temperature that is 200 degrees, it already evaporates. When you make all these, India, for example, 71% of the electricity comes from coal. And nobody talks about it, For us, these projects that we put out, we are now interested in everything. And we will be working on this. I think the black one has to be used. I think Adani, who is a friend of this community, is also made his.
You may spoke of Thank you.
Mr. Adani, we have that one on the other side of the border. And these great power plants, all kinds of things,
Yeah.
they have used it much better than us.
The issue is that nothing more like that produces these of Pakistan is very small country. Most of the countries, including the US, are using huge amounts of coal every day. So Pakistan also needs to benefit from its domestic coal. All our other fuels are imported. So the issue today is we're not able to get financing for a project because the financing of coal is difficult to get by.
That's what I was going to ask. I mean, how are you going to be able to bank all this?
Yes, that is the issue. I think that's where let's say the IMF moment. Now, there's always a underlying political motivation behind anything like that. The IMF policy, you go to them, they don't come to you. So, and they inject basic financial discipline in the system.
Yeah.
It is not rocket science. It's something we should be doing ourselves. We were unable to do that. Now, circumstances in the IMF is more than and the IMF program opens up other flows for you because the oversight that they provide is your financial partner or the multilateral confidence that you are on the right path. So that is the stand today. But I think Mansha needs to be able to benefit wherever it can provide some relief to its people. And Mansha mentioned the third pole can be a big part of that. Because our LNG-based plants or the oil-based plants are quite expensive.
Okay. I think it might be putting you on the spot, but have you thought, applied any thought to how the climate resilience money might be spent? The $9 billion that's coming into Pakistan from the international community after the floods. What kind of project we should be spending money on in that field?
So it's definitely number one, this is typically this is the right thing. So we see our money now. First priority is more the people affected.
Yeah.
But then you have to have mitigation mechanisms on how to avoid such calamities in the future. And beyond that, I think we need to have national policies which contribute to the environment. Because I think Pakistan is probably one of the most affected countries by global warming or climate change. It has gone very far of the country and the climate has drastically changed within the last decade. Huge changes in the climate. So Pakistan needs to use this money to mitigate those negative more plantation of trees. One thing, use it in water, how to use water. And beyond that, the crop pattern for that has changed. So a lot of work to be done in this area.
And maybe a final provocative question before we throw it open to questions from the audience. Is Pakistan too big to fail? I mean, this is one of the tropes, one of the things people always say to me when I'm writing another news story about the negotiations with the IMF. Are there calculations in Washington and elsewhere that your country is so important, so strategically delicate, such an important ally in many cases that you'll be given the money or even soft money no matter what?
Unfortunately, a lot of people in the country, farm sectors, subscribe to this theory that Pakistan is too big to fail. And it's a nuclear state, it cannot fail. It's a country of 230 million, it cannot fail. But that's not the reality. If you look at what is failure, today we have 35% failure. We have, and more pain is to come. Because when you have such huge fiscal deficits, for example, the net income of the federal government today does not pay for